powerful as our yo. Student yo. Student representative yo.
So folks, let me say a pleasant good morning, good evening, good afternoon based on your location. My name is Emmanuel B. Thomas. This is TV. Today again we yet begin to bring you another scene on the grounds of the capital, more especially in the House of the Senate. Upon today, the House of the Senate sent in for the University of Liberia President Dr. Maparyn. So upon the arrival of Dr. Maparyn, we see more body crash and the SR of the student. The student of year today. We don't know his present for him being yet, but we will better go to him and get his own analysis in terms of views. He present for him being yet.
National Tennessee. We action direct Tennessee. We action direct Tennessee. Backwardness. Backwardness. Corruption. 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 Yeah, yo. Rescue you, Zayo. If you get rescued, Labroy will rescue you, Zayo. If you get rescued, Labroy will rescue you, Zayo. Amanda. Luther. Thank you. Fellow comrades, fellow militants, member of the price, ideological defenders of social justice and academic freedom, economic emancipation, that we forge and see at the level of the University of Liberia. We want to use this time to welcome the price. And I'm William B. Sando Jr., student representative to the UR Council. Today, it is of note that we have the president of the University of Liberia, in president of Dr. Maparyn, who is currently articulating and elucidating the dreams and aspirations of the University of Liberia. On that basis, representing the over 25,000 students at the level of the University of Liberia, specifically the UR Council, under the banner of the University of Liberia Student Interim Leadership, where I serve as SR, and we have our dynamic president in person of J. Blood Tengbe, president of the University of Liberia Student Interim Leadership. Coming president, you have my own. And today, coming president, you have our own. Your SI, you have to represent. Thank you. You may be aware that there has been series of calls, agitation, protestation, and perturbation on the campuses of the University of Liberia, where students have bent their anger and the deplorable nature of the University of Liberia. When there are no chairs, there are no facilities, no buses, no internet, and even the buildings. For the past 2 years, under the Joseph Nima Bwaka has now been painted. Today, as per our record, under the United by the government, over 70 million United States dollars has been allotted at the level of the University of Liberia. We have questioned and asked the hard question as to what has become the outcome of those fundings that have been allotted at the level of the University of Liberia. And as I said, over 70 million. 33.4 million was allotted 2024. It has passed. This year, similar amount is being allotted. But unfortunately, there has been no improvement at the level of the University of Liberia. The University of Liberia is still in destitution and hopelessness. And our disappointment of this government is that 4 years ago, 5 years ago, they campaigned on the mantra of change, they campaigned on the mantra of rescue. They told the previous government that the previous government was providing education in quantity and not quality. People like us, conscious-minded students, somehow bow with the idea and say, oh yes, even though that we embraced and accepted the free tuition because it was a form of economic emancipation. But the issue of quality was also a concern. But we did not go against the free tuition policy because the free tuition policy has now been an issue at the level of the University of Liberia. Don't live the free tuition struggle. Don't live. Free tuition policy is the people's policy. It's a message-driven policy. And that is why people like us under the banner of the Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the State-run university, 5, 6 years ago, that policy was champion, that advocacy was champion. And today, it has emancipated over 3 to 500,000 Liberian school-going children from the angle of public schools and even high school in line with the whites. So we cherish that policy, we hold that policy dearest to our heart. And that is why, despite our disappointment, that even the CDC government did not legislate that policy, even though the lower house, that policy was being passed and awaiting concurrence at the level of the Senate. I can recall the last protest that was held, that petition was being received by the current pro-tempore of the House of Senate, in President of Senator Kangar-Lawrence. I can still recall vividly because I was part of that protest. Today she presides at the level of the Senate as President pro tem, and our document is still languishing on her desk. And so the issue of the free tuition, as I stated earlier, has never been a problem at the University of Liberia. Because what is happening now at the level of the University of Liberia has existed decades before even the pronouncement of the free tuition. The issue of buses has never been existing at the level of the University of Liberia. The issue of lack of internet facility has never existed at the level of the University of Liberia. The issue of dilapidated buildings have been in existence for over decades. The issue of chairs have been a problem. So no one should question the consciousness and the policy of the free tuition at the level of the University of Liberia. And that's why we challenge the CDC government back then, even though the propaganda from the opposition back then, even those who were part of the CDC questioned the free tuition policy. We all out of politics that the policy was not meaningful to the Liberian people. But with our consciousness, with our courage and tenacity, we stood our ground and we challenged the CDC government that no government, absolutely no government, can refute the policies of the people. Because that policy is not about the CDC, the policy was never about the judge, the policy was about the people. And that is why today Those who are in the rescue tree, they don't have jobs, they don't have good salary, are beneficiary of the free tuition policy. The free tuition policy never attacked Unity Partisan. It was not for citizens, it was not for ANC Partisan, it was not for a government, it was not for a businessman, neither a parliament. The free tuition policy got across. The free tuition policy is a master-driven policy. So never, even with this government, in the kingdom of time, we think that the free tuition policy can be repeated. But we have come to send a signal and a message. As I said, there have been a series of agitation, protestation, and perturbation on the campuses of the world from growing political parties calling upon the University of Liberia, and particularly the government as a whole. The government must prioritize the University of Liberia. The University of Liberia must be a priority under this government because it's part of their arrest agenda. It's part of their arrest agenda. If the government under the rescue mission cannot do anything for the Liberian people, we want to use this time, question them, and say that it is about time that they prioritize the University of Liberia. One of the reasons of such is that the president, the visitor, is an alumni of the University of Liberia. The president Putin is an alumni of the University of Liberia. Many of those guys are alumni of the University of Liberia. Even the speaker, as we speak, the speaker is a lecturer at the level of the University of Liberia. You can imagine that. So it beats my imagination that the products of the University of Liberia will ascend to the echelon of power and they will forget about the alma mater. It's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate. What is happening? What is happening? You have the sons and daughters of the University of Liberia who are presiding over the state resources. But yet, as we speak, for the past 2 years, the University of Liberia is under tattles. And that is why, as a student representative, we have come in a peaceful mind, representing the government arm of the student union or the student body. We agree that the politics have been there, the political parties have normally played the radical means, and which we cannot condemn, because that is the language that our governance system listens to. If we become peaceful, we engage them, right communication, it takes us to be free. So most often when dialogue fails, normally the political party use the radical means. So as a student representative, we have come to question why the president is making the case. We have come to add our voices, representing the over 25,000 students. Today, you may overlook, this is just my office style as a student representative, but we can assure you this message represents the over 25,000 students. And if in due course, like it has reached our decks, that the president of the University of Liberia, in presence of Dr. Maparyn, has submitted a budget of over 300,000 for the past 2 months to the regulatory authority like the finance ministry to address such an amount in order that the University of Liberia can be refurbished. Since 2 months, such an amount has not been made available. Such an amount has not been made available by the finance ministry. We want to send this caveat. We want to send this caveat to the finance ministry and the government that in due course, in the next 2 weeks, we want to question the finance ministry under Kangar-Lawrence, the prayer economic minister, to ensure that such an amount be made available with immediate effect. Any attempt, I repeat, any attempt for Kangar-Lawrence to not release the 300,000 plus that were made available in line of a budgetary allotment from the angle of the president for a set amount to be used to refurbish the University of Liberia. We can assure Minister Kangar-Lawrence when soon shall commence, when classes shall commence, we will mobilize over 5,000 students and will converge at the finance ministry. I repeat, any attempt for Minister Kangar-Lawrence to not release the over 300,000 that was presented as a document to his office under Dr. Maparyn to ensure that said amount be released to carry on refurbishment at the level of the University of Liberia, to provide chairs, to print the bailies, buses, the bathrooms. We can assure. When I talk to the student general, we can assure Minister Kangar-Lawrence that over 5,000 students, when classes shall commence as of Monday, we will mobilize over 5,000 students and will converge at the final ministry, demanding using the radical means to disperse that fund with immediate effect. The next thing we have come to inform the House of Senate is that the budget, there have been all kinds of various lawmakers, in President Ricky Barry and others, other senators, well-meaning Liberians, who have made recommendations to ensure that the budgetary allocation of the University of Liberia should be increased from 33.4 million to a little over 50 million United States dollars. The reason is just simple. Why is it that the budget of the University of Liberia should be increased to $50 million? It is because the quote-unquote 33.4 million that has made no impact at the level of the University of Liberia. When they were being placed as administrators, and that was under Dr. Conte, when the question was posed in 2024 as to what has become the change on the outcome of the 33.4 million under his watch, he said, and I quote, that said amount was being used for salary. Over 33.4 million, 80% was used for salary. You can imagine that. 80% is around 27 million United States dollars. 27 million just for salary. And how do you expect? What is the operational budget? That's why the University of Liberia has never been treated. That's why the issue of lack of conducive environment is still deplorable. The issue of bathroom is still a question. The buildings are not treated. The issue of chairs, and you name it, because government in time past and even government now has now prioritized the University of Liberia. And that's why we have come to question the House of Senate to ensure that the budget of the University of Liberia be increased to an appreciated amount. The issue of 50 million United States dollars that we have questioned. The next thing is that one of the challenges at the level of the University of Liberia has to do with accountability and transparency. In our investigation, we have noticed that the issue of transparency and accountability is lacking at the level of the University of Liberia, because we did our fact findings and we did our mathematics and our calculation. The students at the University of Liberia under the free tuition policy normally pay the amount of $2,550 Liberian dollars. You have over 22,000 students at the level of the University of Liberia as enrolled students. Within that amount, you will have about 70,000 students that will attend every semester. If you do your mathematics, 17,000 times 2,550, it will give you an appreciable amount. But in US dollars, you'll be talking about nothing less than 236,000 United States dollars in US when converted. When you times 236,000 United States dollars times 2, which is 2 semesters, you'll be talking about over 400,000 United States dollars just for registration fee from the students. That is what the university generates every year. But you will ask the question as to why it has become a problem that even a cup of pin has not been placed at the level of the University of Liberia. So the issue of accountability is one of the problems at the level of the University of Liberia. And that is why we have called for the University of Liberia to be audited up to date for the past 6 months. That call has not yielded fruit. And that's why normally the students will take the radical means and say, oh, University students are violent. Because even when we try to use the diplomatic means, the administrator failed to give an account. Followed by the entrance. Normally at the level of the University of Liberia, we administer entrance. The administration of the University of Liberia administers entrance at the level of the University of Liberia. Every year, sometimes 2 times in a year, they administer the entrance. I gave you another calculation. When it comes to the entrance, like for instance, just go on entrance. Over 13,350 students register for the entrance. Do your mathematics. 13,000 students, if you do the mathematics, times 2,550 in US dollars, that which I normally record in my head, is 195,000 United States dollars. 13,000 students times 2,550, when you get the figure in Liberty, converted to 200 at the rate, the US dollar figure company will give you 195,000 United States dollars. You can imagine that times 2. Every year they make entrance available 2 times they provide entrance. Times 2, you know what you be talking about? You be talking about over 300,000 United States dollars. When you do the conversion with the registration fee, you be talking about over 700,000 United States dollars that the University of Liberia generate every year from registration fees and entry fees. We have asked the question, what has been the impact of this money? Don't forget about the issue of budget at the level of what the government has been net, but the little fees. But you tell us, with this little amount, you tell us that we should pay 15 hours for credit hour. But the little amount that you take from us has made no impact. What's the confidence that we have that we should pay 15 hours per credit hour? We cannot pay 15 hours per credit hour because the little ones that we pay, we have no outcome. We are not benefiting. There are no chairs at the level of Liberia. The buildings are not painted. No buses, no internet. No internet. And students are being frustrated. And so that is why sometimes we don't blame the political parties when they take the radical seat. When they take the radical seat. And that's why we have come here. We have come to inform the Senate as they are questioning our president, Dr. Maparyn. We want to inform them that the issue of accountability and transparency, their oversight, should not be minimized. Their oversight should extend to the level of the University of Liberia when it comes to transparency and accountability. Because even without that the 33.4 million that they normally allot, we don't believe that it reaches at the level of the University of Liberia. Because with all of the allotment, under the CDC allotted over 130 million United States dollars for 5 years as a budgetary allocation. But if you go there, nothing has changed. The United Party, 2 years, they have allotted over 75 million at the level of the University of Liberia. The issue of salary disparity, the issue of part-time teachers, you know what just happened in recent time. So why all of this money going? What is happening to our country? And senators, lawmakers sit here, they make huge sum of money. They run big cars, they don't have their children attending at the University of Liberia, so they don't care. They don't care, but we can assure them, today we have come as a student government. The next time we are coming as a radical political party from both campuses.
Do you mean of it? Well?
I'm saying, and I repeat, as a student representative, today we have come to intellectualize the debate. And this is my office staff. If, I repeat, the final ministry cannot make the 300,000 available in 2 weeks' time under the leadership of Dr. Maparyn to ensure that our buildings be renovated, to ensure the issue of Bible, to ensure the issue of chairs, when over 22,000 students shall commence classes as of next week. In 2 weeks' time, we will mobilize over 10,000 students and will converge, if not on the capital, will converge at the final ministry. And so we are clear about that. We don't mince our words. Today we are peaceful. If the police can arrest us, they can arrest us. Today we are peaceful. Today, as I said, we have come to intellectualize the debate, and we gave the House of Legislature 2 weeks as their oversight responsibility to call the final minister to make the amount of over 300,000 available that was requested by the administration of the University of Liberia to carry on the renovation processes at the level of the University of Liberia. In line with providing chairs, bathroom, painting the buildings, and so forth. A set amount cannot be made available in 2 weeks, at which time the students will converge to attend their classes. We will mobilize over 10,000 students and will converge on the grounds of the Capitol building and later proceed at the level of the final ministry. You can take it and put it in the record. And so,
don't live, the student, don't live.
So you have gotten several statements from the SR saying increase 2 weeks time if the administration does not implement their functions while they are requesting for, they will go back
the issue of
what they
academic
call it.
policy. We agree that Dr. Maparyn wants to change and bring in some policy, but the policy should not affect the students. We admire her policy in line with a trimester. We admire her policy of a vacation school. But as I said, the policy should not come in conflict with the student interests, because that is our role. Our role is to protect the student interests, advocate for their rights, and seek for opportunities. And so what is happening right now at the level of the University of Liberia, apart from the physical issue, there are policy issues. This issue of the trimester and the vacation school has been one of the sagas at the level of the University of Liberia. But we were able to talk to our colleagues, and we ended the vacation school. And the abrupt announcement of the trimester that was initiated under Dr. Maparyn came in conflict with the planning of our courses. The vacation school was just a process given to senior and junior students to register their courses and do the remaining courses. It was not compulsory for all students. So those who saw the need to attend the vacation school attended the vacation school. And right after that vacation school, this August or September will have been a first semester, or a second semester, excuse me. Due to the new policy that was initiated under Dr. Maparyn, they said it is a trimester and it should start from a first semester. So when it reached our desk, we said, oh yeah, it's a good thing, but what needs to be done is that all of the courses that are normally being offered within second semester should be offered within your first semester. On grounds that you did not inform us in due course, you took the decision not informing student leaders, you were not in the know, and you took the decision abruptly. And if you did so, then negligent on your part, you must also compromise your academic procedure or guidelines by ensuring that the policy cannot affect the student. As we speak, there are a lot of courses that are not on the platform, and that will be one of the major saga at the level of the University if care is not taken. Today we are talking about financial issue part, or instructor laying down their chalk, instructors are not taking pay for 7 months. That is the government struggle that they are trying to deal with. But as of the students and that of the University of Liberia, and that's why we told our friends that when there are issues that are to be dealt by the government, you engage the government, you don't engage administration. The issue of financial complexity at the level of the University of Liberia, you should engage the government, you engage the finance ministry, you engage the House of Legislature, you engage the executive. Because that university is a state-run university. Any issue that has to do with financial issue that the government cannot live up to, as students radicals, you engage the government, you don't engage administration. Because administration does not use her own money to fund the University of Liberia. It is the government. When it comes to academic issue, then I'm proffering that the issue of registration and the issue of courses. As we speak, the students are complaining that many of the courses are not on the platform. When we did an engagement with administrators, some administrators, and they confided in us, they told us that the reason why many of the courses are not on the platform because government is asking them to reduce the payroll. The payroll, I will do that analysis quickly and then shut down. They are telling the administration of the University of Liberia to reduce their payroll on grounds that they don't have money. One of the instant cases is that this just vacation school that ended. Administration decided to offer vacation school, and the vacation school will pay over 3,000 each. As per my record, over 6,500 students attended the vacation school. If you do the mathematics again, in US dollar from Liberty to US, it will be around the $195,000 United States dollars just for vacation school. So I'm being told the excuse me, they presented the payroll of the vacation school because the part-timers are normally being paid by the amount of courses that they take to administer for that semester. So I'm being told that each course will be $500 United States dollars. So if an administrator is to teach a course for a semester, he or she is entitled to $500 United States dollars. 2 courses, 1,000. 3 courses, 1,005. Part-timers, now permanently employed. Those who are permanently employed make nothing less than over 2,005 plus. Some of them make 2,800 United States. For the part-timers, contractors, when the vacation school and the administration took the payroll, those part-timers that taught for the vacation school, when they got to the final ministry said they are not in the know of part-timers on vacation school. So the final ministry said they cannot pay for vacation school. Final ministry said they cannot pay for vacation school on grounds that the vacation school is not part of their regular academic curriculum. They are only there to pay for the regular semester, which is first and second semester. So if the administration was able to introduce a vacation school, the administration must take responsibility. That is one of the reasons that today the issue of the go-slow has erupted. Because after holding these part-timers on regular basis for over 5-7 months, the vacation school that they abandoned their family, every day they attended the classes for 1 month. And some of them were to receive 500, some of them were to receive 1,000 United States dollars. When the time came, they could not receive their salary on grounds that the final minister said they cannot disburse set amount of money under the banner of vacation school. So it became a problem. Why does that have been settled? I don't know, but what I do know, we pay, and I think it should be settled because the administration collected nothing less than $195,000 United States dollars for students. If you do your mathematics, 6,500 students, 3,000, you know what it means, and convert it to United States dollars. For those of you who are affording. So that's one of the issues. And so, as we speak, due to the vacation school and the trimester, the students are now facing problems. Most of the courses are not on the platform. As I said earlier, the reason why most of the courses are not on the platform because the more courses that the instructor carry, the more money he or she receives. So statistically, what is happening right now, the final ministry has informed and mandated the administration of the University of Liberia that they should reduce the payroll. So in order for the payroll to be reduced, but as part-timers, you must reduce the courses. So if you are to carry 3 courses, you will not carry 3 courses. And that 3 courses will not be on the platform. So an instructor is only carrying a course, and it is that course that will be on the platform. So unfortunately, students, and that's what we want to bring it to the public, that would be one of the biggest, if care is not taken, I repeat, that would be one of the biggest protests on campus if care is not taken. So the students are calling upon the administration to ensure all of their courses to be on the platform. Because if that happens, this is going to be the first of its kind that you only select courses and place on the platform. What happens to those freshman students that are enrolling? What began with their freshman courses? What began of sophomore students who are to do sophomore courses? What began of junior students? What began of senior students? So it is an issue, and since we have gathered information that is about financial issue, that is why we have come here to inform the government, the legislator, that since the president is here attending the hearing, we want to send this message that the issue of the courses being minimal on the platform is an issue, and as student representative, we have received many complaints that the students have access to the courses online. And we want to call upon the administration. We want to call upon the administration because if time comes and the students are better marks, that will be a debate between us and administration. They want another government. When it comes to financial issue, as I said, if the government fails to make over 300,000 plus available, we can't hear when school opens. When the administration fails to provide those courses on the platform, we'll do it right in our offense. We'll do it right in our offense. Maybe there will not that Maparyn will resign. Because by then you have over 10,000 students who seems to be veteran of that process will be calling for a resignation. Fair about that. But the issue of what is happening now in terms of a resignation, we don't buy into that because we told our colleagues that it's about financial issue. And since it is about financial issue, let's engage the government. That Maparyn did not go at that university with her own money. Yes, you told the government that she was working with USAID, she would have lobbied. Unfortunately, USAID no more. So that is the disappointing part of her. Even though the government paid her 15,000, but the government failed to support her with the information gathering. Government failed. Over 2 months, the woman submitted a budget of 300,000 to renovate that building. The money has not been made available. So who do you blame? You don't blame that the Maparyn. The issue of dismissal, some of us have been and that the Maparyn told us that it is an administrative issue. And if we want to get the information, we should reach the information arm of the public relations of the University Bureau. And so on Monday, we'll be meeting 12. We'll be meeting 12. The public relations arm of the University Bureau to give us the reason why those people were dismissed and what was the cause they were dismissed. We want to fight fines because we must have a clear appreciation as to why. Because we got information that people were dismissed for corruption. People were dismissed because they invested money, the entrance fund. You can recall this is not the first entrance under that Maparyn. Prior to the Maparyn said there was an entrance minister. We got information that that money was never made available. It's being alleged that some guys spent out the over 33,000 United States dollars from the entrance. And it led to that dismissal. But we are waiting the fact. So, excuse me, we have just come to tell the public as a student representative what is unfolding at the level. To conclude, one, the issue of lack of accountability and transparency. The University of Liberia is highly corrupt. The University of Liberia has a cartel that needs to be broken. And that's why the House of Senate was adequately perform an oversight responsibility at the level of the University of Liberia. That, for instance, by inviting the president is one of the means that you perform the oversight. What is happening? What happened to the funding? What happened to the budget that we allowed? What is your budget? The budget line. Did you implement last year, 2024? What did you do? All of these things. You cannot continue to allot money at the level of the University and there's no improvement. Except the House of Legislature tell us that they are in cahoots, that when they allot this money, they go back and collect this money. It makes no sense that you will have an oversight responsibility, you'll be allotting millions of dollars to a particular institution and there will be no change. It makes no sense. For charity time, the University of Liberia have been receiving funding. But we'll go and ask and say, uno for salary. How can you run a state-run university, uno for salary? Are you kidding me? So we want to know the salary of these instructors. No instructor that are making 5,000 United States dollars. No instructor. So how dare you tell us that you will use over 27,000 United States dollars just for salary? All of the 33.4 million are normally be sorry, you will use 27 million just for salary. Who are those that you paying? Who are those? You pay instructors, you say you use 27 million for salary, over 7 months you cannot pay the part-time instructors. So what is happening? And that's why we wrote the Senate, Senator McGill accepted our communication, and today the president has been invited. Because we are frustrated. We are frustrated. That's what led to the president today is being cited and answering questions. And we appreciate that because he has the ability to speak all of the ills that the Lord of Liberia. The issue of financial constraints, we tell them that she got no support, which of course will not mean your word. The government is not supporting. And the House of Legislature must now use the oversight to ensure that the University will be funded. And so, since the issue of The 33.4 million are just being used on salary. We have come as a student government body representing over 25,000 students to tell the House of Senate and the House of Legislature concomitantly that 2026 budget, we want to see nothing less than 50 million United States dollars. It is a request and it is a demand. It is a demand because it's our right, and the University of the US should be funded by the government. The government is under obligation to fund the University of Liberia because the act that created the University of Liberia says that the government has full responsibility. The act of 1951 that funded the University of Liberia. The government has full responsibility to fund the University of Liberia. It's the government priority national resources. Article 6 of the Constitution also talks about how the government should ensure that our citizens have tertiary education, must be educated in the society. So we are not missing our voice. If 2.8 million can be disappearing, if senators and lawmakers will be buying 45,000 cards, buying 45,000 cards twice in a year, then it's just fair enough that the University of Liberia budget be increased from 33.4 million to 50 million. And that is our hope in 2026. If they try to rationalize it and say, oh, we get free tuition, we get this, and so they cannot give us 50 million, that would be another struggle in the history of this country. That would be another struggle. Because we have sat, we have listened, there have been money being embezzled by individuals, by entities, and we've been following all of those arguments. And one thing I love about the politics in this country is about interest, everybody's interest. So, we have provided consciousness to our students that it is about time that we stand for our interest. And our interest is that the budget of the University of God should be increased to 50 million. Any attempt 2026 will come here. If we look in the budget, we cannot see 50 million. We will grant over 20,000 students.
Yo, the student interest matter. Yo. Yeah, yo.
Everybody get an interest in your country. And so, we have educated our comrades that it is not about a William Sando being prioritized, getting his self-interest. We must prioritize the University of Liberia and the overall students of the University of Liberia. And how can we do that? Is to engage national government to prioritize the University of Liberia. So upon the allotment of the 50 million, now we'll put our feet on the ground to make administration that will be presiding over that 50 million for accountability and transparency. An attempt that will notice any corruption in that 50 million and the University of Liberia is not improved. That individual that will be presiding as president of the University of Liberia will call for his or her resignation with immediate effect. And that is the radical step. That is the radical step we are about to introduce and to conscientize our students. You call for kind, Have you asked yourself, why is a student normally protest? Do you think the students found pleasure in protesting? Do you think so? I just gave you an instant case. How will students be paying $2,550 Liberian dollars as a contribution under the free tuition policy? And students cannot even take ID card for over 3, 4, 5 years. In that fees, 250 Liberian dollars is a lot for ID card. 250 Liberian dollars is a lot for ID card every semester. But for the past 3, 4 years, a student, not a student, has taken ID card on our campus. How do we identify yourself? I hear someone say, due to the recent saga, and no students should go on campus. How dare you? But how do you identify if he is a student or not? Do I have ID card? Or if anyone goes on campus, you just say that student, they shouldn't go on campus? On what basis you say we shouldn't go on campus? Or do you want to ban the University of Liberia from now providing tertiary education? Then you tell us, then we ban the government as well. Then there will be no government. I tell you, say we shouldn't go on campus. That's why you have your laws, you have your handbook. If you find students who are following the act of voodoo guidance, quote unquote, You use the headphone, you go after them. If there are warning letter who's supposed in our head, that suspension, you want them. If there are suspension, you export them. But you cannot use a segment of the students and you want to ban the entire student. No, we will not accept that. We will not accept that. It's unacceptable. And that's why we have come here to send a clear message that the Maparyn still has the convenience. Even though segment of the University of Liberia student movement are calling for a resignation on their own belief, but as a government representing over 25,000 students, we are saying when it comes to financial issues, that the Maparyn should not be held liable. The government is the one that should be held liable. When it comes to academic issues, like for instance, what is unfolding, that the courses are not on the platform. Students are not having access on the platform to register their courses. If students are not having access to register their courses, then it becomes an academic issue. Then you engage administration. And that's why we are calling upon that the Maparyn to ensure through the academic affair that all of the courses be placed on the platform. Like you said, you cannot place the courses on the platform because the government has asked you to reduce the payroll. All we need to do and all we have come to do is to call upon the government to make those money available so that the courses can be placed on the payroll where the children will have the requisite pay. So thank you for coming, and we await where the president will brief us about today's itinerary that she has come to adhere to the cause of the senators, question her about the happenings of the University of Liberia, which of course we do believe that she has the ability, the agility to better articulate the dreams and aspirations of the University of Liberia, and so that we can progress. Long live us, long live the over 25,000 students of the University of Liberia.